Okay, yeah.
First thing is turn on the system.
Okay.
First thing is turn on the board and everything back here. The way we got that set up is on this power strip.
So you got two power strips here, that one
and then this one
and this one.
just controls a couple of things up here.
Okay.
And why did I leave that on? The amps, when you basically go through turning on the amps.
So yeah, that would be the next step.
The next step would be turn on the
amps. So Richard's going to walk over to, and I'm probably stand here and be lazy. He's going to go over to the main amps. And this is sort of like turning on, opening up the gates of a water system, and then you flood the water system with the energy, right? So you just threw that little switch right there.
It's on the very top.
Right there on the very top. He threw that switch. I might have been moving around. Okay.
The monitor amps.
We'll be the only church that has an online thing of how to turn things on.
The monitor amps are on a separate amplifier.
Okay. Now,
it's underneath here.
Okay.
So
underneath there.
Switch is on the far left. I usually wait, and that's usually the last thing that I do.
Yeah.
And hence the note up there because I forgot to turn them on like I did this last Sunday.
So will it light up or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. There's the red light.
The board we have right now.
Okay.
The monitors don't mute when the channels mute. There's only two ways to mute them. One is not to turn the monitor amp on.
Okay.
The other is to turn the gain all the way down.
Okay. So to mute the monitors, don't turn them on. They're amps.
Right.
Or to take the gains, which are these top knobs, and turn them all the way down.
Right.
Okay.
All right. And then basically, as far as I'm setting up on, I'm going to go through the vocal channel. We have 4 channels right now that are dedicated to vocals. They go from left to right, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is kind of floating. It's usually somewhere on the back part of the stage.
Are they tagged out there on the stage?
They're tagged on the stage.
Okay, and they say vocal or something?
They just have the channel number on
Channel
it.
number, okay.
Right.
So if they're 1, 2, 3, or 4, they're a vocal channel.
Right, and these, this is the master kind of back here on the back that it's labeled. The gain is the very top knob on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, it controls the incoming volume, the incoming signal to the board. And usually on a vocal, you're going to be anywhere from about midway to about right there.
Okay.
And you can determine how you need, how hot you need to set it. So like when someone's singing, there's a button here that says solo. Okay,
so you're down here where the slides are. It says solo. Okay.
All right, press that, the green light will come on, and you'll get a little green light blinking over there. The LEDs, you want them somewhere like just short of yellow.
Just short of yellow on these right here, that run of LEDs. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be only on the one side anytime you're checking the channel level. If it's not depressed, then you get an indication on both of them. This board is really sensitive. If you don't have the gain set right, if you don't have it hot enough, you're not going to get sound. You're not going to get a good quality sound. If you set it too hot, it's going to go into distortion. Everything, the way this board is set up, it's a short throw board, so that every change you make,
minute changes
are going to make a big increase. As the signals, as you're listening to whatever's going on, like it sounds kind of too high end a little bit. The top knob controls the treble on the EQs. These 4.
Those right there.
Those right there. And you can cut
trying
high.
To show how that comes up from the board. So then there's the slide down there, and then you're kind of come up. And those 4 together.
It'll say EQ, and then it's kind of like in a little box on the board.
So the one just above that is the pan.
Right.
One, and that's going to pan one side.
Either left or right.
Left or right.
Right. And the way we have this set up on the board, we'll go and do that while we're right here. The subgroups for the vocals are 1 and 2. So you want to make sure that button
that's pushed in.
Pushed in. And then these 2 right here are set left and right. That way, if you want, like you were saying, if you want to, like, say you have 2 vocals, 2 female vocals, and you want to kind of separate them, you can go to any degree that you want to separate on the pan, and it'll send it to the left and right. This subgroup controls just the vocals.
So we're going to look over here, and if this is totally down, then we're going to bring up the main first, the master.
The master, you want a unity gain, which is right there, 0 on the line.
0.
Right.
So you can see that it has a 0 mark, and
Right.
it's gone to 0.
Okay, if you're running so like everything like it's set like this on the board, you pull it down like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna go into distortion. That's how distortion pedal works. Is it overdrive? The signal overdrives the
Okay.
master. So that's why I usually that's the first thing I'll do is set
Just
it
go
on
that to, okay. And then here are the 4,
the subgroups.
the subgroups, the
The way
4 subgroups, and the 2 for vocals are 1 and 2.
And the way we have this set up is the instruments are 3 and 4.
Okay, so when they're engaged, are these buttons pushed in right here?
Yeah, they should be left and right if you're wanting to run stereo. This is left. This is set up for left. This is set up for right. This is left for the instruments,
Okay.
and that's
And
right
for the instrument.
right for the
Okay, yeah,
instruments.
gotcha.
And by using the subgroups, what you can do,
Where do they start now? They're already kind of up.
those you kind of is a guess.
Okay, it's a guess.
It's kind of a guess. What I
We're
try to
about 15 right now as a starting point.
that's what I do. I'll just leave them wherever they were the previous.
Okay.
I don't try to do anything with those. So you've got a reference point, like you were saying. But say like you're going along in a song and the instruments are overpowering the vocals. All you got to do is pull those like that,
Okay.
and you pull down the volume of every instrument, or vice versa. The vocals are too far out, and you don't think the music's loud enough.
So if band members that aren't mic'd or something, they're overpowering, you just got to tell them to cut back.
Cut back.
Because there's no way to control
There's
them.
2 ways to do it. You either have to have them cut back, or you got to increase on your end.
Yeah. And
And-
thus we get to 120 decibels
And
sometimes.
most of the musicians here have gotten a lot better about listening to each other, about kind of, and it's been rare. Sometimes, like on the celebrations, everybody gets excited and they're playing with a little bit more energy. But that's another thing that I hadn't even thought about until just right then. Usually I try during the sound check to get the volume just a little bit lower than what I want it, because everybody plays with more energy during the actual worship set than they do during sound
Good
check.
point, yeah.
So the times when I've got it right where I want it, it's usually too loud
Yeah.
when we get started.
Yeah, they are. They're kind of holding back. They're going to save their voice or whatever.
Save
they're
their voice,
playing
or it's
till
also
they
they
get
just,
right.
and you just get, when you're actually worshiping and you've got the people here, there's
Yeah.
usually more energy. But, let's see,
So then what about the other one? Okay, so you mentioned, I got you off of
no,
that.
it's
You
fine.
were on treble.
On
and,
treble.
And you were on the treble line, which is of the 4 group there,
that's the very top one.
very top one.
The next one will be this is controlling the volume of the mid-range, is the second knob.
Yeah.
This knob sets the frequency. And you will be amazed how a minute change with that can make a drastic change in the sound.
Yeah, the mid-range is the only one that actually has a frequency
Right,
change.
on this board, right.
And then the next one down is the low end, or
the low end.
bass, or more bass sound.
Right. And then the very bottom, there's a button here,
See that?
and it's a low cut.
Sorry. Okay, there we are again.
Smart Alec.
The
He
very
said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Standing here."
the very bottom on the
Okay.
EQ is a low cut, and what that'll do is a lot of times
Low cut.
you'll hear
Okay,
like on
I
a
see that.
vocal mic how there's a little bit of rumble from the breath,
Yeah.
or from the cord moving around. I've depressed that on all the vocals, and it just
Yeah.
takes that rumble out of it.
Oh, okay. The rumble.
And sometimes maybe like
So we should look to make sure that that's depressed, the
Right.
low cut. button.
another way that you can use that is on
Mm-hmm.
an acoustic guitar. Sometimes I don't want to cut the bass, but there's like a real low frequency that I want to take out. You can depress that
Press it and see, if,
not
that,
have to cut
see
the
if that takes it.
see if that takes it. And basically, if you're troubleshooting, what I do is go for the obvious stuff. So like you have a guitar up there and it's not, you don't hear a sound. Are they plugged in? Is the
Yeah, are
is the
they plugged in? Yeah, that's a good one.
Is the first one.
Okay.
Did they have their volume turned up on their end?
Yeah.
If all of that's going, then I'm going to test on the solo again, see if I'm getting level. If I'm not getting level, that means I'm not getting the signal.
So
there's
when you push the solo in, it's just on that channel,
On
and
that
that
channel.
channel's telling us then over here what that one channel's doing.
right, and you can also hear
check it
that
with the headphones. Find that the headphones are plugged in, and there's a plug-in cord, and it also happens to have a volume on
Right.
the headphones, so you might check that too.
Yeah, but by soloing it like that, one of the other things you can do is you can check for problems, but you can also, like on the keyboards, so like I don't know if they're doing an organ or if they're doing like a string pad or something like that. You can cue it up and you can listen and you can tell what what it is that you're listening for. And that's one of the easiest way. If all that hasn't worked as far as troubleshooting, then you've probably got a problem like a line's bad or something
So
like that.
now all of the channels that are assigned to the instruments, we just test them away. Somebody plugs in and you test the channel and you see if you get a light or something.
The first thing is, you want to pause it for 1 second because I can do this.
Okay, so
the monitors. This is the front two monitors, monitor 1. These are the two that are back around the drums and bass monitor. Those are monitors.
Okay, so now on this side, there must be something that controls
these are the master volumes. And to be honest with you, I rarely ever touch those. We usually just kind of set it at a level.
So the master volumes are these two right here.
For the monitors.
That's the third row over for the monitors. Solos are out. There's nothing depressed there.
No, they're pretty straightforward. Like I said, I usually don't do too much with them.
Yeah.
These two rows right here, 3 and 4, we're not using. They're totally not used. But this is send the sound back to the band.
Yeah.
And
so what are you said 3 and 4 we're not using those,
right.
So we don't have to worry about those right now.
Right.
Okay, great. So that's everything we kind of need to know for your basic board stuff.
The only other thing is you turn it off in the reverse order. You turn the amps off first and then turn the board
Turn
off.
off the feed of all the power, like flooding the system, so we cut the water supply off and then we cut the pipes off. Then we go down and we shut all this down here. Okay, thank you. That's like great, and I still got 4 minutes to spare. And and so that's kind of another story to talk about the CD burning, and we can do that some other time. And right now we're really not doing anything with the limit. I mean, all this is kind of set. The limiter.
Yeah, all that is pretty much set.
Light should be on top of it that we know we got power.
Right.
And
all of everything else over here is just to do with the recording.
Okay, and then we'll work on our other fancy gear. Okay, Richard, thank you, master mechanic of all time and space and sound.
And if all else fails, call me and I'll try and talk you through it, because I've had to do that with Scott and some others occasionally.
Okay, thank you.